Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in to the Monday edition of the Big Man on Campus podcast, our college hoop show, where we break down the basketball card for today. It's Monday, January 22nd. Welcome everyone in. Hope you had a great Monday. Work day is about ending for most. And hopefully we can find some value in the college hoops card today. So I welcome you in. Hope you had a great weekend, and it's a new week. Time for more profit here on the show. I had a good week last week, which we'll get to in a little bit. I want to welcome everyone in, all the people out there checking us out around the world and around the United States. All the guys, plenty of people always in here. Please hit the like button. It's very important to the growth of the show, and it helps me. Also, if you're on Twitter, please retweet the show. It's very helpful to me. And like I said, it gets it into people's hands that might not see it on a regular basis. James Ross, what's up? 2 Chains, welcome in. Drake, congrats to your Eagles. Yes, thank you, man. Very excited here. Had a long day yesterday, but it was well worth it. I woke up around 8 o'clock. I left at 9 or so. I got down there around 10:15, and set up shop in Eslot, right by Citizens Bank Park. Hung out, threw a football around, chilled for a while, and then the game was unbelievable. I've been to a lot of Eagles games, but it was probably the best game I've been to. The only game that I would equate it to was the 44-6 game many years ago with the Eagles and Cowboys. It was a game that really vaulted the Eagles into the playoffs. That day they needed 2 other teams to lose, and they were able to absolutely rout the Cowboys. It was back in 2008. Probably the second best game I've ever been to, but football-wise, this was number one last night. Electric atmosphere and a memory that I'll never forget. So I thank you all for that. After the game, had a little fun out in the streets. Philadelphia deserves it. People in the national media will slam this town today for some of the things that were, of course, blown way out of proportion. But this is no different than any other city. In South Philly and in North Philly and Center City, wherever you are, you partied last night. And that's all there is to it. There's no difference in any other city. Do you drink? No, I don't. I don't drink. For me, euphorically, the game is enough. I don't drink. No. The people that I with, though, were. My brother drank. My boy Ryan, everybody drank. I did not, though. No. Also, we'll get more into the Eagles later, if there's any questions when we do that. But I do want to discuss one thing that was that happened on Friday, and I do want to apologize for something that I said over the weekend. I don't know that many of you will care about this, but I do think I was a little out of line when I was discussing another guy that seems to bother me a little bit. I made a comment about his kids that I probably shouldn't have made. I don't know what kind of father he is, and I shouldn't involve kids. That was my bad. I don't have anything more to say about that guy. He's a guy that, I'm just not going to comment on anymore. But again, his kids don't deserve anything. I made a comment saying that I don't think he's fit to raise kids. I don't know if he is or not. And I apologize for that comment. The kids don't deserve it. They're not involved in it. But, it's sometimes people get a little too personal with you. And, I got a little bit ahead of myself. I don't have a problem with some of the things that I have said about the situation, but I'm not going to involve the kids, and that's an apology that I'll put out there. So my apology on that. Other than that, just move on. Don't bother me anymore. I don't have time for it. I'm trying to do something here. Again, I'll apologize and be the bigger guy for that, but that's all I have to say going forward. Let's move on to something else. Let's talk about the basketball tonight. A lot going on. Had a very good week last week, everybody. 7-3 here on the show. Not on the show, but in my basketball games. It was a great week. We continued to just kill it against the spread. 78-46, 63%, up 27.2 units. Again, 27.2 units on the season. I mean, if you can find anyone out there doing that for free, let me know. But I don't think there is. So we'll keep it moving. Try to hope to add to that. I want to try to get to 30 units by the end of the week, which is definitely very possible. Yeah, Liverpool lost. What are you gonna do? You can't cry over spilled milk. I mean, what are you gonna do? Big one of those things that happen in football that you can't ever predict. Swansea played well today. Swansea plays well against Liverpool. What are you gonna do? But basketball is the center of attention tonight. Let's get into the play of the day, and then we'll get into the rest of the show. Want to shout out before we get into it all the people out there, all the good people out there: Adam Bayer, Ferdinando, George Young, Reggie, Kyle Jasper, Brooks Cross, Kicknuts, Kentucky Derek, Brennan Clay, Anthony Greer, El Chaparrito, Titleist, King Rail, Rick H, Joel McDonald, Kevin White, Justin Searcy, John Mill, Joel McDonald, Guan White, Chris Carter, Brian George, Putnoff, Kyle L, Jeff Slaughter, Birds Chirpin, Mr. Coates, Dennis Schultz, Dre for Trey, Ferdinando, Old Miss, Justin Searcy, Casey Koenig, Armin Hinyosa. What's up, Armin? CC Church, Big Man, Pat's here. Nice job by your Eagles. Do you think Foles can have that type of game? You know what, C Church? Remind me at the end of the show when I ask about questions. Let me know about that. I want to answer that question. Don't let me forget. Yeah, listen, I mean, we move on. Big Man, would you consider a celebratory beer or two if the Eagles win the Super Bowl? No. Drinking is about, for me, it's not that I'm like I'm not like AA or anything. I don't enjoy it. It's not something that I'm into. I prefer to stay. Listen, I unfortunately have an issue with food that I'm trying to get under control. I can't add different vices to that. So whether it be drugs, heroin, cocaine, anything, I can't. I'm not going to ever do that stuff. I don't want to do it. I have no interest in doing it. I don't smoke weed. I've never tried and have no interest in it. I don't smoke cigarettes and I don't drink. It's not anything that I'm against. I just don't do it. That's not celebratory. For me, enough celebratory stuff is looking up into the sky and thanking, the powers that be for the win. But no, maybe I'll find a woman to kiss. That might be better. No, I don't drink. Well done, big man. Thank you. Tony Soprano asking me if Furio needs to get involved. I don't think just yet, Tony, but I'll let you know. Ricardo, welcome in. Adam Detroit, thanks. Xylem Baldovino, Eagles all the way. Bruce Chad, what's up? Skeet, what's up? KJ, Wayne, Heath, Robbie, Jonathan Hawks, Michael Watt, he made me hot. All work to me to the top. Shout out to Mike Jones. Adam Lastman. Let's get into the show here today. A lot to do. A lot of people in here, and I welcome all of you around the world. Hoping this week we can get something going with the great Blackjack Fletcher. I think we're going to have something going on out there, so make sure you check that out. Blackjack did a nice job over the weekend, I believe, so shout out to him. And as always, right side of campus every day at 10 o'clock. Let's get into the show. Play of the day. We're going to take a look at the Big 12. A lot of Big 12 on the card tonight. Not a big card tonight. Very few options here. But I'm going to tell you what, I definitely like this play a lot. And to me, it is the best play on the board. I'm going to take a look at game number 727, 728. And I'm going to take a shot with Baylor -4. I could still get 4 at Bookmaker right now, -4. You can also get 4 at Just Bet. I believe you can get them at a couple others as well. If you move quickly, you can get 4. You might want to do that now. For the sake of the show, if you have 5, I would co-sign that. 4 is definitely an interesting number. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to see where this number goes by the end of this breakdown. I'm okay with 5, but 4 obviously is a better number. I think for the sake of the show, we might just have to go with 5 because that looks to be the number everywhere. Yep, looks to be 5. I'm going to still go with it here. I think Baylor gets the job done, and I think they do it fairly easily in this game. I'm going to go Baylor -5. You look at Baylor and how good they are at home. I think that's important. They're 9-2 at home, scoring 84 points a game. This Baylor offense is really good, and they're really good at home. I think that's something that has to be discussed. 51% from the field. Defensively, they've been absolutely fantastic, only giving up 64.5 points a game. I think this is a bit of a letdown game for Kansas State. Both their games that they've won recently were at home. You look at on the road, Kansas State's not been particularly good. 3 of the last 4 that the Kansas State Wildcats have won, in the last 4 games, they've won 3 of them. All of those have been at home. So now you got to go on the road to a tough atmosphere against a team that's been absolutely fantastic at home. I think Dean Wade's going to have a lot of trouble tonight with Akil. Akil has about 3 inches on him. Akil is a man down low. Both teams do go incredibly slow, so if you like the under, might be a game for you. But you look at Baylor, some of the advantages they have in this game on the glass has been huge. Their free throw percentage has been good as well. And defensively, Baylor is much better to me. I trust Baylor more defensively. And I think, again, this is a bit of a good spot for them off the loss to Kansas, back at home against a team that is a little high on themselves right now. I do think Baylor's the better team. I think Baylor is just a bet-on team for me at home. Home team who are 0-5 in the last 5 matchups in this. Okay, yeah, I don't really care about that. Those are different teams. I'm not a huge trend guy unless it's this year. Again, last year there were different players. It was different situations. And for me, I don't put a lot of stock into that. Lecomp's had a great year. Him and Akil have been kind of those 2 catalysts for this team. You've been getting some good production from McClure and Nooney Ahmet and Terry Maston. Give me Baylor here in this spot. I think this is going to be a game where K-State just kind of is down a little bit. Baylor's only allowing opponents to shoot 39% this year at home. So give me the Baylor Bears here, -5, and I'm going to go with it here. Yeah, I'm not necessarily not about trends. I'm just more about spots. I'm more about teams, matchups, schematics in the game. As far as teams, when they change year to year, like consider last year, if you use what he's discussing here about the last 5 games, a team like San Diego State, totally different team this year, totally new coach. You have to look at situations. Those trends don't put into account any of that. My favorite people in this business are the guys that give you trends from 1980, like that has any bearing on this current team. Big man, few of us students here at UPenn listening every day are huge fans. We'd love to catch a Temple UPenn game. I tell you what, Austin, I would have loved to have been down at the Palestra on Saturday for that game against Temple University. I would love to do that, man. Get in touch with me on Twitter. Maybe we can get to a game. I'm totally in. I got to get over to the Palestra. I only really visit that during the high school season. The Catholic League final I generally will go to at the Palestra. But yeah, get in touch with me. I'm very happy to hear that. Get in touch with me and we can make that happen. Where are we at here? Yeah, I'm going to get into all the games, Michael. Settle down. So yeah, we'll go Baylor University -5. I'm confident that they can close this game out late. I think they win by double digits. I think the loss of Camus Stokes is at some point going to be a concern for Kansas State. He's a good defender. He's a guy that without they're going to struggle. So give me Baylor here -5. Your play of the day. Let's get into the other matchups here. See if we can find any edges here, and I'll give you my opinion on them. Indiana, Maryland. I'll tell you what, this was a considered game for me for play of the day. The only reason I'm staying off it is because I'm not a big fan of Maryland on the road, but I think they should be able to go on the road and get the job done here. I think they're a much better team than Indiana is. Maryland's finally starting to get a little bit more healthy. And, you look at right now, this Indiana team has struggled with Juwan Morgan in the lineup, and there's very good possibility tonight that he's not going to play in this game. He's doubtful with an ankle injury. If he plays, obviously that's going to be a big help, but I don't really want to bet on the fact that he may or may not play, plus the issues that Maryland has on the road. They've still gotten plenty of production even without Justin Jackson and Yvonne Bender. Kevin Herter's had a great season. Deion Nickens, Jared Wiley, Anthony Cowan. I mean, plenty of options for his Maryland team. But the big thing staring you in the face is their inability on the road. I think they're going to go ahead and get it on the road here, but um, the Morgan concerns about playing or not are still up in the air. And he gives you 15 and 7 a game. That's a big player to have in or out. And also Indiana, 7 games over the last 17 days. That's a lot of games to play. I mean, especially after, you're out of conference schedule. They've been playing a lot of games here. So that one's just kind of, and it's a coin flippy game. I mean, it's that line you don't want to lay on the road. So for me, it's going to be a pass. But if Morgan doesn't play, I think Indiana, or I think Maryland's the play there on the road. North Carolina, Virginia Tech. Not a big feel in this game. I'm concerned with Virginia Tech here on the boards. They're not a big team. And North Carolina, as always, is among the best rebounding teams in the country. This Virginia Tech team has struggled majorly defensively, particularly in conference. Opponents are shooting almost 50% against them. Against a team like North Carolina, that's never a good thing. But your saving grace here, Virginia Tech's in Blacksburg. They're 10-2 there. I just can't really get into betting a team that struggles so poorly on the boards, but I would not be surprised at all if this is a close game. This just has the makings of a close, 2 to 4 point game. And you look at Virginia Tech, they do a lot of the things you look for to stay in games. They're absolutely fantastic from the field, 54% at home. They're shooting 40% from three. They're 73.3% from the line. They don't turn the ball over a considerable amount. They don't foul a lot on defense. Gun to my head, I would take Virginia Tech. Iowa State, Texas. Lean with the points here. But you have two teams going in opposite directions on the defensive end. Iowa State has been dreadful on defense, and Texas is among the best defensive teams in this conference. It'd be interesting to see how Texas handles this game because they're off a big loss. But that was on the road. Before, 2 straight wins against good teams. They've covered 4 or 5 against the Cyclones. But you got to lay a big number here, 7 points. I like Texas in a dog roll. I don't like them at this number. Plus, they only shoot 65% from the line. So that's a concern here. I just don't know that Texas has blottable power. You look at the latest couple games, too. I mean, 74-70, 67-65, 79-70, 94-91. I mean, a lot of close games in this series. Gun to my head, I'd take Iowa State. Nebraska, Ohio State. I think this is kind of a dangerous game for the Buckeyes. I really like Caleb Bates-Diop. I think he's among the best players in the Big Ten. But Ohio State, are they capable of laying a number like this? Nebraska, I'm not a big Tim Miles guy, but they've been great as an underdog this year. 7-3 to the number, 13-6 overall. But then you look at Ohio State. They've been damn good as well against the number. They've covered every game in conference, 8-0 to the number. Big pass for me. Not a ton of value here. I'll pass. My first pass of the night. Kansas State, Baylor, we talked about. West Virginia, TCU, West Virginia. Country roads take me home. And it looks like the public is on the Mountaineers here. However, this is your big-time game of the week or game of the day in the Big 12. The game that the whole world loves. And I got to tell you, I think it's going to be difficult. Will the press work? That's always the big question. And on paper, you would think it would tonight. People see Jalen Fisher's out, so automatically they're not going to be able to cover the number. They're going to have trouble. But for me, Alex Robinson, I think, is very capable. The question is, will that press work? I'm a big West Virginia guy at home. I'm not particularly big on the road with this group. Gun to my head, I'm going TCU here. Home dog, I'd take them here. I still think TCU is a very good basketball team. Jalen Fisher hurts. They have to get better defensively. They play zone, which I think will give them a little bit of trouble, West Virginia, in that realm. And look, again, the problem with West Virginia is they can keep teams in games because of their ability. They foul way too much. 21 times a game is too many. TCU doesn't waste their opportunities. They're good from 3, and they're good offensively. For me, I think TCU gets it done, though. But West Virginia has beaten TCU 11 straight times. Let's say they do, but it's 72-70, let's say. I'll take the points here with Texas Christian plus 2.5. Couple more here. Michigan State, Illinois. This is a real tough game because I think Michigan State's going to start to run off a couple here in a row. They're off that absolute burial of Indiana, which is a great spot Friday night that I was able to see through and leaned in Michigan State there. I think you're going to see Michigan State go on a little bit of a run here. Illinois has been awful in conference. I mean, they're 0-7 straight up. They're giving up 80.5 points a game. Michigan State should be able to handle Illinois. It'll be interesting to see if the up-tempo Illinois offense will get it going here. But I'll leave that alone. Sounds like a trend. 11. Oh, yeah, 11-0. It's telling. I think that's a telling one. 0-5, not too much. But it isn't my decision. If you notice, I picked against it. So it didn't mean too much to me. Donnie Rightside, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's Donnie Rightside got going on? Ken Palm doesn't take into account of injuries. Exactly. Fuck Ken Palm. I've said that before. I don't care about Ken Palm. Stop mentioning Ken Palm on this show. I don't care. We got one more or two more here. Holy Cross and American. Holy Cross and American are both bad basketball teams. They're both 5-13. They're both teams that in the Patriot League run a very slow tempo. American's 289th in the country tempo-wise. Holy Cross is 3 from the bottom. There's only 2 teams slower than Holy Cross University. They're at 349. I just don't see a ton of value here in backing either side. I'm always a guy that likes Holy Cross. I think Bill Carmody does a great job there. But I don't really see taking points or laying points or even an under. If this was 131, I'd probably go under. But at 124.5, I just think to me it's a little too low. If you said pick it or I'll blow your head off, I would still take the under. I think 1st to 60 wins this game. It's going to be very slow, very possession driven. I don't think it's ever a bad thing to go auto bet under in games like this. 2 teams that can't shoot as it is. I mean, both these teams are really struggling offensively. 44 and 42%, not good. And both these teams are pretty solid on the defensive end. To me, I think this is like a 60-55 type of game. I think 120 will be the cap on this one. But late in games, you never know with fouls and things like that. App State Troy, a very random Sun Belt game on a Monday. 2 teams that are struggling. I thought Troy would be a little bit better this year, but they had to deal with no Varnado for a while, and that was hurtful. But they're at home. But I don't really see any reason they're better than App State. App State's been shaky, but they've also been kind of a pest at times. No real opinion on this game. Another pass for me. So for me tonight, play of the day, I'm going to go with Baylor University -5. UVA was the auto pick under. I don't disagree. I just see, everybody's on that now. So I don't know. I just didn't like anything enough yesterday. For me, the plays were either that under or Loyola, Illinois. I don't really understand why Valpo continues to be favorable in spreads. We'll take questions here going forward. Got through the card. If you have any questions, a lot of people in here. Appreciate all of you. Hit the like button if you're able to. Helpful to me. And I hope you enjoy the show. Any question, anything you want, whatever you got, give me the question. What do you think of Zion Williamson choosing Duke? I think it's a great idea. I think it's a good choice by the young man. I think, for me, it was a surprising thing. I thought for me it was Kentucky or South Carolina or Clemson, but I'm very happy he didn't pick Clemson because Brad Burnell is a shitty coach. I don't think he's a guy that develops anyone at all. He reminds me a lot of a Johnny Jones type. He's won absolutely nothing at Clemson. He blows his load every time he gets to March and either fails to even make the tournament or bows out early. He's never gotten past the round of 64. And he's a bad coach. I don't know why he's still the coach at Clemson. I don't want to hear about, oh, they're 16-4. Who cares? What are they at the end of the year? We still have 2 months left of college hoops. Brad Brownell's a shitty coach who doesn't develop players at all. He's done nothing to improve anyone. Name one player he's put into the league that was any good. Maybe other than Trevor Booker. Other than that, has he developed anyone? He's had some great bigs there that he never developed. Great guards, never developed. Plus, he doesn't recruit well. I mean, other than having Zion Williamson a chance at that, what other recruits has he ever got? I know it's tough, but I mean, why didn't they go after Will Wade? That would have been a great pick for them. Instead, LSU gets him. So you're behind. And now LSU's starting to turn it up. Clemson basketball doesn't win because Clemson basketball will not get away from Brad Brownell. Simple as that. And I'm glad the young man didn't choose that school. Because I don't care who you are. I don't care how quickly you're leaving college. If you're going to be there for a year, why not be on a team that can win? Congrats on the Eagles, says Nick Carrillo. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it, man. I'm not answering any more questions on games. We went through every one. I gave you my opinion on each of them, yet we still have people asking about what games I like. Sorry, guys. You have to go back. We can't put out a quality show for just continuing to regurgitate the same info. That's why I'm not a big Coach K fan. Cal East is up front where he likes to be sneaky. I don't think he's sneaky. Who wouldn't want to go play at Duke? You got a high-level point guard coming in and Tyus Jones from Minnesota, Tyus Jones' brother. You got R.J. Barrett coming in. You got Cameron Reddish coming in. You have whoever decides to stay next year. Duke's a perfect place to be one and done. I would love to play there. I don't think he's sneaky. He's just good at what he does. He's the most influential coach, kids think. I have nothing on NBA. What are my thoughts on Jason Kidd being fired? He never came off as a coach to me. I never really understood that from the beginning. You talk about sneaky? I think Jason Kidd's a sneaky fuck. I still remember that time when he had that player of his spill the soda on purpose, so he got an extra timeout. That was some shady shit. What's the best site to follow injuries? That's a tough one, man. My advice would be just try to find someone that works for the school and try to get information that way. Even for a guy like me, injuries are hard to get a hold of. I try to just, there's so many teams. Some of the teams don't even have beat writers. So you just got to, I try to listen to like the pregame shows. A lot of the time the coaches are interviewed. I just try to, it's all about information. There's not really a site though. I don't really trust any of the sites anyway. Is beating New England all about pressuring Tom Brady 12? I wouldn't say it's all about it, but that definitely helps. Looking forward to Oklahoma, Kansas tomorrow. What do you think that line's going to be? I'd love to get Sooners at plus money and take them. Yeah, I wouldn't. I would look Kansas there. Kansas is still the best team in the Big 12. You'll all see. Do you ever wager in the NHL? No. What are your top futures to win it all right now? I'll explain that tomorrow on the Bet Buffet. That's kind of what that show's for. I have a couple. I'll have them all down, and I'll give them to you. What's your take on Baylor game over in the first half? I don't bet first halves. West Virginia under the total against TCU? No opinion. Any ideas who Buck should get to coach their team? Fizdale. David. He's the best opportunity for any team. I'd love him to coach the Sixers. Great coach. That's who I would take if I were them. David Fizdale. Are you sticking with the Eagles in the Super Bowl? And the points. I'm sticking with the Eagles, but I'm taking them straight up. I'm not worried about the points. Plenty of time to talk about that, though. We'll keep it going with some questions here. Big man, the over the total is TCU's at 161.5. It's now 156. Do I like the over here? No, I don't. Was yesterday's highest stake game you've ever been to? No, I was at the NBA Finals in '01 when the Sixers went there. But pretty much, I was at UK, Florida. It was like a funeral when Zion started coming out. Cal needed to regroup. Yeah, I was doing a bet cast for that game. I ended up taking Florida right before the game started. Yeah, I would think it would have been. That's tough. That's a tough thing to hear. I saw bracketology with the 2 seed Auburn playing Portland State. Uh, you pick Portland State in that one. Yeah, I'm not in on the Portland State thing. I don't see it. Portland State's not even going to get to the tournament, so I'm not sure why they're even being talked about. Um, Portland State hit their climax already, and unfortunately, it was in December. I'm willing to bet a large amount Portland State doesn't get to the tournament. Do I like any NBA? Uh, yes, but I'll have to get to you a little bit later with that. Matter of fact, I'll at the end of the show I'll talk about that. What kind of car do you drive? Maybach. Any picks you like in the NBA. I'll get to that. Do you agree or disagree that high school kids should be able to go right into the NBA? Yes, I think they should be able to do whatever they want. I don't think it's fair that you make anyone do anything they don't want to do. Yes. I think if you're 18, you should be able to go to the NBA. I don't care what you've done or haven't done. If you want to go to the NBA, you should be able to. The Swans got a huge win against Liverpool. Yep, talked about it already. I'm talking about his past. Many years ago, he said he didn't want those one and done players. Well, unfortunately, times have changed, Kevin. It's kind of like why we don't ride around in horse and buggies anymore, and some people do. Well, there's cars now. You got to get with this new technology. There's a reason we don't use dial-up anymore because it's not fast. You can get faster stuff. That's not ridiculous. I mean, Kevin, you actually are saying you don't like Coach K because he's decided to go with and do what everyone else does? He's a top 25 program. He's a top 5 program. His boosters need him to be hop level. What do you expect him to do? Was he supposed to just stay the way he was because he doesn't want to be like everybody else? Here's what happens. When it's time to win, you win at all costs. You do whatever you have to do. Coach K has been involved because he needs to be involved. They're top of a program that needs to have solid recruits every year. When's the last time Temple signed a top recruit? Not a while ago. And that's the issue. They could have signed Jalen Brunson. Actually, they did sign Jalen Brunson. But fucking Rick Brunson, his father, who they picked up to be a coach while his son was at school, got involved with a sexual assault. And Temple said, we don't want anything to do with that. So Jalen Brunson left and went to Villanova instead. Lifelong Eagles fan. Our chances this year. Our D is frightening. I agree, Carol Preston. You're totally right. Best defense in the league, if you ask me. We'll keep it going with questions. I'll try to get to all of them. But once you lose an edge, it's time to get with the time. Exactly, Kevin. You got it. You see it. Let's start a GoFundMe and get you to the Super Bowl. Go ahead. I'd love it. I think you're going to have to get a lot of money together, though. And you know what? We spent enough money on the NFC Championship. I got to tell you, I have no issue with what I'm doing for the Super Bowl. I'm going to be right in South Philly at a friend's house, watching a game with people I care about. And if they win, I'm 2 blocks from Broad Street. So I'm just fine being in South Philly. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Where do you find rankings in college football, basketball, such as pace of play? Just Google it. When did you start gambling? I'm like 10 years old, probably. What's the chances Blunt scores first touchdown versus Patriots and runs straight up the gut? You know he wants that way. Yeah, Kyle, I hear you. Unfortunately, though, I don't think the game plan is centered around if LeGarrette Blunt wants to get the first touchdown. You're going to do what you have to do to get a touchdown. I don't think it's, in a game like this, I don't think it's going to be a big matter of what he wants. I could see what you're saying totally, but those first touchdown prop stuff, though I would tell you to do it. I mean, why not? It's a prop bet. I would take the shot with that. I'll get to NBA. Yeah, he did get shafted in Memphis. You're totally right. Fizdale was shafted totally. Do you bet conference champions in college hoops? Yes. Smaller conferences, though. Thoughts on the Eagles plus 5.5? Yeah, I like it. I think they win. I want to ask you questions because I'm afraid, big man, you already hit on them. You can ask away, and I'll just tell you if I hit on them or not. You like Indiana? No. I like the other side. But I would only play it if um, if um, if Morgan's out. If he's out, I would be in on it. What time? What kind of food did you have at the tailgate yesterday? Thanks. We had all sorts of stuff: sandwiches, beer, your regular stuff. No grills or anything though. Sports have balls. Montana is going for the biggest guy. I agree. Have you ever coached basketball? Yeah, I have. I used to coach rec basketball. I was a couple years ago. Um, I had two different teams. Who would be a good coach for Clemson? It would have been Will Wade. I'm Atlantic City born, Trenton raised. You're good with me. Keep it up. Thanks, Sean. Get in touch. How excited are you about getting top 3 recruits? I'm very excited. I think it's unprecedented. Amazing. As always, the rich get richer. Hal Abrams, Jason Kidd's a bum, wife beater and a drunk. Uh, well, agreed. Tell us how you really feel. We'll go through a couple more here, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll get off around 5:45. Uh, is Gonzaga undervalued at number 15? No. Very good, though. Coach K is one of the best coaches of college basketball. I don't know about that, but my opinion of what a good coach is and your opinion of what a good coach is might be a little different. I think that a coach is more than just how they recruit. I think coaches have a lot to do with different things, doing with what you have. If you ask me who would I want leading my team to win a game, it would not be Coach Krzyzewski. It'd not be Roy Williams. It wouldn't be Bill Self. Wouldn't be any of those guys. For me, if I had to pick who I would want to lead my team, it'd be Jay Wright, Mark Few, Randy Bennett, Bob Huggins, Chris Beard. There's some tremendous coaches in the country, man. And they're not the guys at the big schools. There's guys at the mid-major level that have done a fantastic job. Greg Marshall. I mean, all sorts of guys. I'll have to make a list of my top 25 coaches. I'll do that sometime. How long have you been capping college basketball for? A while. 10 years probably. If you know big man, yeah, I drive a Hyundai Sonata. 2016. I'm under the radar, man. I don't drive all that shit, that Mercedes and shit. Any fucking guy can go out and buy a Mercedes and pay $300 a month. I don't need that. I don't need the feds up my ass. You're a young kid. I got a friend of mine, right? I know a kid in South Philly. He drives a Bentley, and that's a true story. He drives a Bentley Continental. He gets pulled over all the time. I mean, he's a kid driving a Bentley. What do you expect? He bought a Continental. It's like a cheaper one. I mean, it's an expensive car, but he has a nice business. He does a nice job for himself. Started up. He's got a really good business. He bought a Bentley. Gets pulled over all the time. I had a friend. He had a brand new BMW. Pulled over all the time. The best squad is pulling up to Costa Rica. Okay, good for them, Steve. Steve Stevens. I don't know if you're trying to get at me. Okay, well, go watch them. They're good guys. I'm just not into NFL like that. I want to watch my team, and they're handling it. I'll be down there in March for basketball. Do I ever play at poker in any home games? Yes, I do. You should start online handicapping classes. I'd pay for a class, and maybe I will. Good idea. We'll have to put a feeler out there. Maybe we'll do that in the summer. I'll get into. I told you, Sam Wheel. I'll get into that tomorrow on Bet Buffet. Does St. Mary's win the Mountain West? Or no, the West Coast? No, I don't think they will. I think Gonzaga will. Do you watch McDonald's High School All-American game? Yes. Mike Bray's a tremendous coach. I agree. Tell me Kevin Ollie needs to go. Yes, Kevin Ollie should have been fired a couple months ago. Steve Forbes is a good coach. I agree. East Tennessee State. Good point. McDonald's always says, yeah, I know. I'm a big recruiting guy. I know. What are my thoughts on UCF Johnny Dawkins? I think he's had some bad luck at Central Florida. What's up, Tiger Bob? Tiger Bob not happy last night with Philadelphia's handling of the win last night. I noticed that. How did the Eagles stack up with the Pats? I was there yesterday. Yeah, it was a great game. We'll get into it more towards the game, Danny. Big Man's as good as any college capper. Thanks, man. Johnny Dolphin. Yes, they're my play of the day for the 8th time. We're wrapping it up, guys. 5:40. Time to jump off here. Everyone have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the show. My thoughts on sports wagering being legal in all states. I mean, honestly, I think it's great. I don't really care much about all the other states. I just want it in Philadelphia or the Jersey Shore. When that happens, I'll be fine. But I'll tell you what, I don't really care when it happens. I mean, I still bet, you know, through bookies, so I don't really care when they do it. But it'll be great for the city. Atlantic City's the second best city in the world, and they need something there. So I hope they can get it for that. My favorite Eagle player? I'll tell you, I don't know. I like a lot of Eagle players. I'd probably say Malcolm Jenkins, and on offense, I'd probably go with Alshon Carson. I mean, he's injured right now. He's definitely, I think, everybody's favorite. But I like Malcolm Jenkins a lot. I love the way he plays on the field, and I also like his angles off the field. He's a guy trying to make a difference, and I respect that a lot. A lot of kids don't. My favorite Albanian food. My favorite Albanian food is burek. It's a small stromboli type dish. It's filled with meat. It's basically a meat patty filled with herbs and meats and all sorts of stuff. Very good. My favorite food, probably sushi or a cheesesteak, but try not to eat those. So yeah, there are the questions. Everyone have a great day. I'm getting some text messages here. A lot of stuff coming in. I'm not sure what was going on here. Other than that, again, do want to make that apology one more time. Kids don't deserve that stuff from that stuff on Friday. Actually, you know what? In general, I apologize for that stuff on Friday. That's not what I want to be involved with. I told that. I apologize for all that stuff. You won't hear that from me again. I've said before, I'm not going to get involved with some of these guys. They're going to do their things. They make a block button for a reason. Some of you guys asked the weirdest questions. So yeah, my offer is no more talking about those guys. They're let them do their things, do whatever they do. The guys, the Chris Bars and everybody like that, they're doing what they're doing. Good luck to them. I got nothing else to say. So I hope you all enjoyed the show today. Keep a lookout this week. A lot going on over at SBR. We get the right side of campus every day at 10 o'clock. Wednesday, we have the roundtable. We'll be doing some stuff with Blackjack Fletcher this week. Lot of stuff going on. Basketball continues. The play of the day, Baylor -5. Everyone have a great night. See you later. Bye-bye.